right, Jackie.
All right. We're just looking at the eyes. I always forget the little eye thing, so keep that consent. Both sides. Oh, okay.
Yes, that's Deepak's strategy now.
I see. All right. So, hello everyone.
Hi.
Today I want to talk about how and why crafting a compelling message is really the fundamental key to your presentation, engaging your audience. There has to be something there for them. The average Fidelity employee sits through 64.5 presentations a month. How many of us, let me just ask by a show of hands, have sat through a presentation and we said, I wasn't compelled by that message. What was the point of that presentation? Seems to be a common consensus. Well, let's talk about what some of those fundamentals are. You need to factually believe and ensure your audience knows what you want them to know. Will they be walking away with, I know about this topic? That information is quite essential. Do you believe, you want your audience, what do you want them to believe intellectually? Will they get that after hearing your presentation? What is it you're compelling your audience to do, to want to do after hearing your presentation? What's that call to action? What are they going to feel motivated to do? And what do you want your audience to feel emotionally? Will they be energized? They'll sense, are you energized? Are you excited? Can they be excited from hearing your presentation? So in summary, we've just talked about 4 essential components. Each of them are essential. I'll just mention an example. I know Christine, she says, I have a compelling message. She just wants to add something to it. She wants to add some sizzle. You know, each of these, it's really critical. You want to know what you want your audience to believe intellectually, know factually, do actively, and feel emotionally at the end, really is the key. It'll get them motivated to do something.
Well done, Jackie. Excellent, we're ready.
Hello, everyone. Today, I'm going to talk about Tealeaf, a web analytics tool. I'm going to cover a high-level overview of the application, discuss some of the uses inside Fidelity today, and potential opportunities for your website application. Knowing how to apply a web analytics tool does not guarantee success. But not knowing how to apply your web analytics tool almost guarantees failure. Fidelity has a strong commitment to the customer and customer experience. So, as Fidelity associates, let me ask all of you, by a show of hands, how many of you have opened an account at fidelity.com? Almost everyone. All right. Well, there was a past discovery where the business determined that customers were having issues opening an account. Tealeaf was instrumented in order to determine why these customers were having the issue. Where were they encountering obstacles? How many customers encountered that struggle point? 80% of customers who start a transfer of assets into their Fidelity account were abandoning their sessions. Tealeaf is instrumented as well here to provide visibility into why this is occurring. They were able to look at the patterns of behavior before and after the abandonment and see how many customers were affected. Was there a technical issue? Tealeaf is actually utilized in order to reduce calls to customer service with the discovery of several technical issues. So, at a high level, a web-based reporting portal. You utilize events that can capture items of interest for you and items you want to have a learning opportunity for. It also uses reports and dashboards where they're customizable for your area of the website, the application. You could search in the rolling month of data that is retained on the sessions by criteria you specify. And one of Tealeaf's biggest strengths, you can replay the session and see exactly what the customer saw and understand what was occurring right at the time it happened. And see what is the impact to the business from this issue. The implementation, it is not difficult. It requires a bootstrap on each page of your web application, a post page for that information, and a bit of server-side logic for the posting. So I'd like to give one final example of an actual discovery by Fidelity that provided a big win. So there is a legal federal maximum to the amount that can be opened an account with on a given day. In the past, there was insufficient verbiage on the Fidelity website in this area where the customer entered the amount. So, for example, the customer, they would start out with what they wanted to open their account with. Let's say it was $100,000. It kept returning an error. The customers would consistently just keep dropping that number until finally the system would accept that number, and they were able to proceed and finally open an account. There was a quantifiable amount of potential business that could have been obtained by Fidelity if they had the proper information on the website. How do we know that the customer did take that potential business and go to a competitor? Providing that insight and visibility into what your customer experiences, what they do, and why it's happening can lead to resolution of issues. So in summary, we've just talked about a bit of a high-level overview of Tealeaf, talked about some of the benefits and opportunities that you can use Tealeaf for your website, and overall improve the customer experience, which Fidelity really is driving. You can optimize the site usability. You can prioritize the issues that are discovered and determine, how much of an impact and how quickly does this need to be resolved. An investment in Tealeaf is a wise use of your money, resources, and time to provide actual, real value to your area of the business that can be quantified and provide long-term value. Yes, a question?
I'm curious, because I'm not really familiar with technology. Could you spell what this application, it's Tealeaf?
It is, it's all one word.
Yeah.
T-E-A, like the drink.
Yeah.
Leaf.
That's what I thought, tea leaf. That's really very cool.
Yes.
Is that like I'm reading tea leaves to be able to predict my future?
I am not really sure where the name came from. I don't have that background.
Yeah. But that is, it's tea leaf.
It's a very unique name.
Ah, all right. Well, thank you.
Any other questions from the audience at this time before we conclude?
I have a question. So you mentioned in between we can see exactly what customers see. So how is there any recording going on, or from the logs we can replicate what customers saw? How does that work?
So there is a method.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
So his question was how that data that we're able to replay, is that used from logs? I mean, what is it, what's the source? Mm-hmm. So it is not actually using log data. One of the key pieces that Bootstrap that is placed in allows the application to instrument the ability to basically capture all of the user interactions that are occurring, and save those and sessionize those via the process it uses.
Oh, great.
So once we decide we need to use Tealeaf for our application, how much time would it take to implement it on an average?
So that is an excellent question. Given that Tealeaf is really an application that has to be customized for each application, it depends on what your business requirements are, how many requirements, the depth of the information you're looking for. It varies. There's not a simple answer. It's so customizable, it really depends. That needs to be assessed.
So is it a good tool for something as simple as how many hits we got on our summary page?
So, my area, this type of tool is used for deep insight of actually what's occurring in areas where it provides value. My area does have another tool that can fulfill that function. It is actually implemented in a similar way by a simple Bootstrap. And you can engage my team for that. That application is called Site Catalyst, and I can definitely provide, after this presentation, a contact name for you to get started to engage that process. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And anyone who wants to know more about Tealeaf, feel free to talk to me after.
Give me your close again. Close again.
The close again.
That's all right. You're doing great.
All right, so we have just covered I've just provided a high-level overview of Tealeaf. We've talked about some of the benefits and potential uses for your website application. Investing in Tealeaf with your time, your money, your resources, it will provide business value over the long run.
Well done. All right, Jackie, yes! Way to get us kicked off. So, Jackie, gosh, I know you were working on flow. Your flow was beautiful. I saw some facial animation. I want to see more.
Oh, all right. I'm trying to not over.
Nice stance. Now, again, this is when you're getting feedback. You don't have to respond. So I want to keep seeing you smile from time to time.
Yeah.
You use your pauses. No, you just you don't get to talk now. So you use your pauses really well. And again, I would so much rather hear a pause than an or an ah while you're thinking about what you're saying next. And you do that beautifully. The next round, not today, but another time, I'd like you to practice with variation in your speed. So your pauses are good. Now I want you to do a little more variation, speeding up and then slowing down. Your pace was beautiful. So just give me a little bit more variation and I'll be happy, a little bit more smile. This is something we did not talk about. When you are dealing with questions, always summarize the question back. Even if you're positive everyone heard, don't make that assumption. Give the context of what you're about to respond to. If you don't, you're going to hear me say, I didn't hear the question. And that means I want you to summarize in some way what you're about to respond to. All right. Feedback for Jackie. What would you tell her?
Good audience engagement at the beginning.
I would say a lot of improvement from the yesterday's presentation compared to this.
Okay.
Very good content and very nicely put.
Thanks.
Yeah.
The
Well,
one statistic that you gave, 80% of people abandon their sessions and good attention there.
yeah.
I think, well, I work in the web measurement area, but providing some sort of data point that really makes the information relevant to your audience really seems to be effective. I think
Yeah.
it's it was
Send it.
Sentinel that said, the 20% of our time, and I was thinking, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, and given that the analytics realm,
Yeah.
that just really, I was like, you can use that
Yeah,
information.
excellent. I also like the way you responded to Anisha's question by saying, gosh, here's another tool that would work for that particular situation. And this is heads up, you've got to be careful. I have a personal pet peeve. This is just mine. I do not like it when presenters have that knee-jerk robotic, that's a great question, that's a great question, that's a great question. It's a stall tactic, and we've been taught it because we want the audience to continue to come in, but we have to be very careful. I had asked a question, Central had asked a question, Anisha asked a question. You said, that is an excellent question. So, but it's judgment. It means my question wasn't excellent, Central's wasn't excellent. So you just have to be careful. It's very easy to fall into that. So I have found more genuine, more useful, just to summarize the person's question back, to acknowledge you've heard it, using your eye connection, respond to everyone. Don't get caught in a one-on-one. And then at the end, thank everyone for their questions. That keeps you out of judgment. Let me be the first one to welcome you to the Dunn Club. Woo! All right, Jackie. Catherine, you're up.
I was going to say, I didn't want to, see, I'm not assuming anything, Tanisha, and I personally just automatically never assume them.
And
Because
it's